The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Ibas, has reminded Rivers State Sole Administrator Vice Admiral Ibas, retired, that by the provision of the 1999 Constitution as amended, he must report to the National Assembly in running the affairs of the state. The Speaker gave the charge in Abuja on Tuesday while inaugurating the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on Rivers State. On March the 18th, 2025, President Bola Tinubu declared a 6-month emergency rule in Rivers State following the political crisis that pitched the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, against the State House of Assembly. Tinubu suspended both parties for an initial period of 6 months and appointed Ibas to oversee the running of the state as sole administrator, a decision that was approved and ratified by both chambers of the National Assembly. For more on this, we're now being joined by Chizy Enyi, who is President General, Initiative for Transparent Strategy and Good Leadership. We also intend to find out what he thinks about the court ruling on the defection of the pro-Nyesom Wike state lawmakers and perception of police partiality in handling protests by pro-Fubara and pro-Ibas women in the state. Good day. It's lovely to have you join us on News Day today. Let's just begin with the root of the entire conversation, which of course will be the ruling of the state of emergency in Rivers State. What's your assessment of this ruling on a general basis, and how do you think it will affect the state's progression?
Yeah, for record purposes, since the inception of this administration, nothing has come forth as from the sole administrator. It is an obvious fact that the president was deceived into believing that there were crises in Rivers State. The agreement between the State Assembly and the governor does not mean there is crisis in Rivers State that would have warranted the declaration of state of emergency. Recently, the sole administrator appointed some persons as local government sole administrators, even without recourse to the National Assembly, who during the ratification said they are amending to the effect that there must be clearance from the National Assembly before certain decisions should be taken. If the sole administrator wants to appoint sole administrators to man the various AGs and some boards which require screening by the Assembly, now that there is no State Assembly, why didn't the National Assembly so stop the sole administrator by ordering him to reverse what he has done, appointing the board, local government, the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, the Local Government Service Commission, and the Civil Service Commission, and then the sole administrator? These are persons who ought to have undergone screening, but they did not go. And the Speaker yesterday set up ad hoc committee to oversee the legislative functions of in Rivers State also. And I wonder, even the Constitution, did the Constitution give them such rights to oversee the affairs of the Constitution to oversee the affairs of the legislators when the legislators here in Rivers State has been suspended? The President, during the proclamation, said he is declaring state of emergency, suspending all democratic principles. So which one is the National Assembly coming to do? And since the local government sole administrators took over the management of the local government, nobody has raised any issue. There was no bombing of the local government secretariat. There was no fight, no disagreement as to say, you people will not take over, the appointment was illegal. The Supreme Court said nobody should appoint anybody to man local government unless elected officials. See, there is relative peace in Rivers State, all because Fubara supporters are organic supporters. They are not even much of politicians. They are Rivers people who believe that the right thing must be done. Now that these persons have taken over the local government, did you hear any fight? But when Fubara appointed some persons to be caretaker committee members and chairmen, the local government like Ikore local government was totally burned down. Eleme local government was totally burned down by Wike supporters. Emma security post was totally burned down. But in this case, there is no crisis. Nobody have said Supreme Court said this, therefore you will abide by what Supreme Court said. So the problem in Rivers State, everybody know, everybody also see, can also adjudge that it is all of Wike supporters who are known to violence. It is an obvious thing. Okay, imagine women having solidarity march on the ground that they are supporting emergency rule. What is even emergency rule? Emergency rule is a military rule. And if you are supporting military rule, why then are you praying for democracy in Nigeria? If some persons will come up publicly to say they are supporting military rule, it then means those persons are also against the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Because what they also mean and what they are saying is that even the military should take over the leadership of the nation. Because they are happy, they are supporting emergency rule, they are supporting military rule. That is all. So for Rivers State, it is an obvious thing that even them coming out to protest, to hold a solidarity march without molestation is an evidence, is a fact that Rivers State is not just only peaceful, that Rivers State is not known to violence as to have warranted the declaration of state of emergency. So the president hasn't been deceived. He should at least know that at this stage there is need to retrace his steps, because Rivers State cannot go into criminality, cannot go into violence, because few persons who are supporting Wike are known to causing crisis. For us in Rivers State, we are of the view and we're of the fact that the president should reinstate the governor that has been suspended, and then Rivers State will move forward. Mr. President should also know that, as my father will always say, that time wasted cannot be regained. 6 months will be a waste and we will retrogress. Hence, we are appealing that he should retrace his step and allow Rivers State to move forward.
All right, Mr. Enyi, based on what you said, you said that there's a need for the president to retrace his steps and reinstate the governor that was suspended. We've heard a similar call from the likes of Jacob Pele, that's the CEO of the Albino Foundation, just a few days ago. And one of the questions I asked him was, in the event that this call for the reinstatement of the governor falls on deaf ears, what's your next course of action?
Well, if the president refuses to retrace his step, we also have civil rights as to go on the street almost on daily basis. That's just the only thing we resort to do, because but to tell you that we resort to violence is a no thing. We won't subscribe to that. You know, Governor Fubara believes in humanity. He is a man who respects the rule of law. He is a man who believes that every life matters. In fact, for me, I don't even know if I can be as peaceful as Fubara is, because he believes that this life is next to nothing. And at every point in time, he has always maintained his position that he will not use his position as the governor of Rivers State to undo anybody. You will agree with me that only Governor Fubara is the governor who at every point in time, people will come up publicly to say, you're a mumu governor, you're a stupid governor. And these are persons holding government positions, like the case of the former chairman of Ikure local government, Samuel Wanotike, who even as chairman of Ikure local government publicly say, Fubara is a mumu governor. Nobody would have tried that when Wike was the governor of Rivers State. Who would have tried that? You won't even attempt, you won't even attempt not to talk of trying, as in reality a sitting a chairman abusing a governor. No, it's not possible. So what we are saying is the president should please look into the affairs of Rivers people. We owe nobody any apology to say that we are peaceful, because we'll always remain peaceful. Governor Fubara have also not advised anybody to go into criminality by bombing oil pipelines or doing anything. In fact, since the sole administrator came, has he called for any peace meeting? Has he even called for any security meeting involving stakeholders in Rivers State? No such thing. And there is also no military parading everywhere in Rivers State. I can tell you that for free.
Yeah.
No military parading everywhere in Rivers State that had not caused fear on people not to come out assuming they want to cause crisis. No such thing.
Yes.
And like I have maintained several times, since the inception of this administration, he has not done anything as to say that because he has done this, then peace has returned to Rivers State. No, he is just there as the sole administrator. Only God knows what he is doing. But for Rivers people, we owe him no apology to say he should please go back. Because we don't know why Cross Rivers people are always known to setting us up. The time of Mbo, that was how it happened. When he was the CP here, all of us were sleeping with our 2 eyes open. But yet, he was the CP, the Commissioner of Police. Now they have also brought in another Cross River State man to superintend over the affairs of Rivers State against a person Rivers people elected. For me, I didn't vote for Fubara. I'm an APC member, so it should shock you that I'm coming here to talk in defense of Fobara. I'm not defending Fobara, but I'm saying that the right thing must be done. The rule of law should be allowed to prevail. Those who say they are our assembly members who deceived us into saying they defected, like Justice Basam said, that what they did was a televised defection and not a constitutional defection. We agree that it's a televised defection. Hence, they should come and start working. What happened before now was the disagreement that since they defected, they are no longer assembly members. But Supreme Court said no, that the evidence of defection are not before them, therefore they are assembly members. So why not they come to work? What is the essence of hiding?
All right, Mr. Chizy Enyi, well, thank you so much for your insights today on Newsday on this very pressing issue.